Good morning, students. We have discussed nouns, noun phrases, and noun clauses, adjectives, adjective phrases, and adjective clauses, adverbs, adverb phrases, and adverb clauses. Now, let us learn something more about these phrases and clauses. First of all, I am going to discuss noun, noun phrase, and noun clause and their uses. If if only one word acts as a noun, it is known as noun. For example, Ramesh. As you know, this is the name of a person and it acts as a noun. So, it is a noun. Now, if more than one words act as a noun in a sentence, that is known as noun phrase. Only one word or a compound noun is known as a noun. A group of words or more than one words is known as noun phrase that acts as a noun in a sentence. For example, your brother, your brother. And it has no finite verb, no finite verb. It can't stand on its own. It can't stand on its own. It has not a complete meaning. But in case of a noun clause, when a subject-verb combination acts as a noun in a sentence, it is known as a noun clause. Let us learn to extend from a noun phrase, and then to a noun clause in a sentence. For example, she expected a medal. In this sentence, this is subject, this is verb, and this is a noun, a medal. वैसे भी आपको पता है articles are used before nouns. So, medal is a noun. It is a single word used as a noun, means she expected something. She expected a medal. अब हम इस medal noun को noun phrase में convert करते हैं. She expected to win a medal. To win a medal is a phrase. It is not a clause. Why? Because it has no finite verb. She expected something. Here, this phrase acts as a noun. That is why it is known as a noun phrase. In the third sentence, let us extend this phrase. Let us change this phrase into a clause. For example, she expected that she would win a medal. Here, subject, verb, means she expected something. We can replace this noun phrase and noun clause with the word something. She expected something. She expected a medal. She expected to win a medal. She expected that she would win a medal. Here again the subject and verb combination. Here this that she would win a medal is a subordinate clause and is acting as a noun in this sentence. That is why this is known as a noun clause. Let us take two more examples to make the understanding of a noun phrase and noun clause. For example, I know Ramesh. Extend this Ramesh or replace this noun with a noun phrase. I know your brother. We have replaced Ramesh, a proper noun, with a noun phrase, your brother, because there is no finite verb. Next is, I know the boy who is your brother. Now, I have replaced this phrase with a noun clause. ये clause कैसे है? वही बात, subject and verb combination is there. And it is a subordinate clause. I know the boy or I know a boy is the main clause. And this is a sentence having a subordinate clause and a principal clause. Next example, he fears the enemy. What is the enemy? The is an article used before a noun. He fears the enemy means he fears someone. He fears a noun. He fears the enemy. Now replace this noun with a phrase. He fears to go abroad. वो किस चीज से डरता है? दूर जाने से, विदेश जाने से डरता है, डर लगता है उसे. Now this phrase has no finite verb. That is why this is a phrase. And next is he fears subject verb. He fears what? He fears what means he fears something or someone. He fears that he will fail. वो किस चीज से डरता है? He fears what? That he will fail. Again subject verb combination. This is a subordinate clause which is acting as a noun clause. In this way, we can identify a noun phrase and a noun clause in a sentence. Dear students, phrases and clauses एक conceptual topic है. आपको इस टॉपिक की अंडरस्टैंडिंग तब समझी जाएगी जब आप एक एडजेक्टिव से उसको एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज में एक्सटेंड करना सीख जाएंगे और एक एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज को एक एडजेक्टिव क्लोज में एक्सटेंड करना सीख जाएंगे. आज हम सीखेंगे हाउ टू एक्सटेंड एन एडजेक्टिव इनटू एन एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज एंड हाउ टू चेंज एन एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज इनटू एन एडजेक्टिव क्लॉज. और इस प्रकार से हम क्लॉजेज का कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छे से समझ पाएंगे. आइए हम देखते हैं कि किस प्रकार से एक एडजेक्टिव वर्ड को हम एडजेक्टिव फ्रेज में चेंज करते हैं. मान लीजिए हमने एक एडजेक्टिव लिया सक्सेसफुल. ही इज ए सक्सेसफुल पर्सन. ही इज ए सक्सेसफुल बिजनेसमैन. सक्सेसफुल, I can change it into an adjective phrase by adding highly before it. Highly successful. It is a single word acting as an adjective. It is a group of words acting as an adjective in a sentence, and then it is also a group of words having a subject and finite verb of its own acting as an adjective in a sentence. Successful, highly successful, or by adding a subject and verb to it. Who is highly successful? Let us frame a sentence. I met a successful man. Here, the word successful is qualifying noun man. So, it is acting an adjective and used before a noun. What type of man did I meet? I met a successful man. Next is, I met a highly successful man. Highly successful, adjectival phrase. Here, again noun, and this adjective phrase is qualifying this noun man. Here, a group of words is acting as an adjective, and then we have to add a subject and a verb to change this adjective phrase into an adjective clause. I met a man. This is a principal clause, and who is highly successful is a subordinate clause. We have just add a subject and a verb to this adjective phrase highly successful to change it into an adjective clause. This adjective clause, who is highly successful, is qualifying this man who is a noun in this sentence. इस प्रकार से अगर कोई group of words या अगर कोई group of words having a subject and finite verb of its own qualifies a noun, it acts as an adjective. Next example, industrious. Industrious means hard working. Change it into a phrase of industrious habits. Change it into a clause. Who is industrious? Or I can say who has industrious habits. We have to add a subject and a verb to change an adjective phrase into an adjective clause. Let us take an example. An industrious student is sure to succeed. Student is a noun and the word industrious is acting an adjective for this student. Noun. किस प्रकार का student? This word tells about this noun, the student. An industrious student is sure to succeed. Next is a student of industrious habits, adjective phrase. of industrious habits is sure to succeed. This is also here, this is in this sentence, the words written in red font are acting as an adjective phrase. Now, change it into an adjective clause just by adding a subject and a verb. For example, a student who has subject and verb. And this is the same adjective phrase. Who has industrious habits is sure to succeed. In this way, we can change adjectives into adjective phrases, and adjective phrases can be changed into adjective clauses. For example, stone wall. What type of wall? Stone wall. This is a noun and stone is acting as an adjective here. Wall made of stone. A group of words having no verb, having no subject and verb of its own. If adjective phrase. Now change it into an adjective clause by adding a subject and a verb. Which is a wall which is made of stones. Next is golden chain, a chain made of gold, which is made of gold. Then a kind lady, a lady full of kindness. काइंड को यहां पर एडजेक्टिव को हमने नाउन में चेंज कर दिया, ए लेडी फुल ऑफ काइंडनेस, एंड देन आई मेट ए लेडी, आई नो ए लेडी हु इज फुल ऑफ काइंडनेस. In this way, we can change adjectives, adjective phrases, and then into adjective clauses. Now, how to extend an adverb into an adverb phrase, and how to extend an adverb phrase into an adverb clause. Let us take an example. Bravely. As you know, most of the words ending in ly are adverbs. This is a single word acting as an adverb. In a brave manner, यहां हमने bravely को brave जो कि adjective है इसमें चेंज कर दिया है. ब्रेव मैनर ये एक एडवर्ब फ्रेज बन गया है. नाउ सो ब्रेवली दैट, और फिर कोई सब्जेक्ट या वर्ब जो एप्रोप्रिएट होगा इसमें ऐड कर देंगे, देन इट विल बिकम एन एडवर्बियल क्लॉज. लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल. द आर्मी फॉट ब्रेवली. द आर्मी फॉट ब्रेवली. इन ए दिस इज एन एडवर्ब हियर. How did the army fight? The army fought bravely. It tells us the adverb of manner. The army fought in a brave manner. The same thing is there. There is no change in the meaning. The army fought in a brave manner. What have we done? We just have changed an adverb into an adverb phrase. The army fought so bravely that the enemy fled. आर्मी इतनी बहादुरी से सेना ने युद्ध किया कि दुश्मन भाग खड़ा हुआ. नेक्स्ट इज सिट देयर. हियर दिस वर्ड देयर इज एन एडवर्ब ऑफ प्लेस. दिस इज अ सिंगल वर्ड acting an adverb in this sentence. Sit there. Here, where is the subject? Here, subject is you, which is hidden. Sit there. और sit there को अब हम एडवर्ब फ्रेज में चेंज करने के लिए लिख देंगे sit on the bench. टीचर बच्चे से कहता है sit there. Where? Sit on the bench. Where is the bench? Where? Sit where you can find the bench, और sit where you can find the seat. आप वहां बैठ जाइए जहां पर आपको सीट मिलती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल sit ये वर्ब है, you यहां पर सब्जेक्ट है और यहां पर यू अगेन सब्जेक्ट है. यू कैन फाइंड फिर से वर्ब है. हमने एक सब्जेक्ट वर्ब कॉम्बिनेशन बनाते हुए इसको एडवर्बियल फ्रेज में चेंज कर दिया है. इन दिस वे वी कैन चेंज adverbs into adverb phrases and adverb phrases into adverb clauses. And we can use adverbs, adverb phrases and adverb clauses in different sentences. Now, let us have a small exercise. There are only 5 sentences in this exercise. You have to encircle the main clause and underline the subordinate clause in these sentences. You have understood that for a group of words to be a clause, it must have at least a subject and a finite verb, or a subject and a predicate. And main clause has the complete meaning, complete sense, while the subordinate clause doesn't have a complete meaning. Now tell me, this is the main clause. Encircle the main clause. Why you did this? This is the subordinate clause. आप इसको केवल इतना देखेंगे, why you did this. Next is, if I like it, this is the subordinate clause because the conjunction is there. If I like it, I shall buy it. I shall buy it. This clause, it itself is a sentence because it has a complete sense and subject verb combination. Next is, the person who won a prize is here. Subject is this. The person is here. This is verb. Is. The person is here is the main clause. It has a complete sense. But who won a prize? Who won a prize is the subordinate clause. We have to underline this and encircle this main clause. Next is, he is excited. This is the main clause. He is excited because he has topped the class. Because he has, again subject verb combination having not a complete sense, it becomes a subordinate clause. And the last sentence is, I like the tea or I like tea. This is the main clause. Which is produced in Assam. कौन सी चाय पसंद करता हूं? कौन सी चाय अच्छी लगती है? जो असम में पैदा होती है. This is acting as subordinate clause. In this way, we can understand the concept of words, phrases, clauses, and types of clauses and types of subordinate clauses, that is noun clause, adjective clause, and adverb clause. Let us sum up the topic of clauses. Today, we are going to discuss the difference between phrase, clause, and a sentence through this chart. Here I have written phrase. This column is for phrase, clause, and sentence. Here the first column is group of words, finite verb, meaning, sentence, and other features. In case of phrase, क्या फ्रेज में ग्रुप ऑफ वर्ड्स होते हैं? एब्सोल्युटली होते हैं, बिल्कुल होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ऑन द टेबल, राम एंड श्याम, इन द कॉर्नर, ऑन द फ्लोर, इन द पार्क. एक ग्रुप ऑफ वर्ड्स होता है फ्रेज, इसलिए मैंने यहां टिक का निशान लगाया. नेक्स्ट इज फाइनाइट वर्ब. क्या किसी फ्रेज में एक फाइनाइट वर्ब होती है? नो, ए फ्रेज हैज नो फाइनाइट वर्ब. अगर फ्रेज में सब्जेक्ट और फाइनाइट वर्ब हो गया तो वो फ्रेज नहीं रहता, वो फिर क्लोज हो जाता है. इट मीन्स ए फ्रेज हैज नो फाइनाइट वर्ब. नेक्स्ट इज मीनिंग. डज ए फ्रेज स्टैंड ऑन इट्स ओन? नो, इट डज नॉट स्टैंड ऑन इट्स ओन मीन्स it has no complete sense. It has a little sense. It has no complete sense, no complete meaning. Sentence. Can a phrase be a sentence? Never. A phrase can never be a sentence. Yes, it can be a part of a sentence, but not a sentence. Because for a sentence, we need a finite verb, and a phrase has no finite verb. Next is other features. Can a phrase has a subject? Yes, it may or may not have a subject. It depends upon the words in the phrase. इस प्रकार से हम फ्रेज को डिफाइन करेंगे, और यदि हम ये frequently asked questions के थ्रू फ्रेज को डिफाइन कर लेंगे तो हमें फ्रेज का कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छे से समझ आ जाएगा. अब हम लेते हैं क्लॉज. व्हाट इज ए क्लॉज एक्चुअली? Is a clause a group of words? Absolutely a group of words. A phrase, a clause, as well as a sentence. This is the similarity between phrase, clause, and the sentence. A clause is also a group of words. Has a clause a finite verb? बेशक, बिल्कुल. For example, every clause has a finite verb and subject of its own. Means every clause has a subject and predicate of its own, and this predicate part always contains a verb. That is known as a clause. This is the basic difference between a phrase and a clause. Next is meaning. Does every clause has a complete meaning? No. It depends upon the clause. It may or may not have the complete sense. हो भी सकता है, नहीं भी. और जहां इसका complete meaning होगा उसे हम main clause कहेंगे. एक main clause एक complete sentence बना सकता है. But a subordinate clause can't make a complete sense or complete meaning or a complete sentence. इसलिए हम कह सकते हैं a clause may or may not have a complete sense or a complete meaning. Next is sentence. Can a clause play the role of a sentence, or can a clause be a sentence? It may or may not be a sentence. If the clause is the main one, principal or independent clause, it is a sentence. What type of sentence it is? It is a simple sentence. Means it will have at least one subject and one finite verb. But if the clause is subordinate one, dependent one, then it is not a sentence, because it has not a complete sense, and for its complete sense it has to depend on the main clause in the sentence. So alone a subordinate clause alone can't be a sentence. So हम कह सकते हैं a clause may or may not be a sentence. It depends upon the words in the sentence. Next is other features. What is the basic feature of a clause? The basic feature of a clause is it has either a subject or a finite verb. At least one subject and one finite verb. In some clauses, the subject is hidden. For example, stand up. This is a main clause. This is a complete sentence. But here the subject you is hidden. Next is sentence. Is a sentence also a group of words? Yes, it is also a group of words. Phrase, clause and sentence, all the three have a group of words. Are a group of words. Next is finite verb. Does a sentence have a finite verb? Without verb, no sentence can be framed. So every sentence has a finite verb of its own, at least one finite verb. It may have more than one finite verbs also, but at least it must have a finite verb. Next is meaning. A sentence has a complete meaning. It always has a complete meaning. Next is if a group of words has not a complete meaning, and even after having a subject or verb, it is not a sentence. We can't call it a sentence. Next is sentence. Yes, a sentence will always have a complete sense. So it is a sentence. It may have one clause. It may have two clauses. It may have more than two clauses. If there are more than two clauses, then at least there will be one main clause and others may be subordinate clauses. There may be two main clauses also in a sentence. Next is, what is the next feature of a sentence? One main clause. A sentence has at least one main clause plus more than one subordinate clauses. It may have one main clause, one subordinate clause. It may have one main clause, more than 1, 2, 3 subordinate clauses. It may have two main clauses also. It may have two main clauses joined with a conjunction. A single clause can be a sentence. More than clauses or group of clauses can also be a sentence. अब एक सवाल यहां यह उठता है, क्या कोई भी फ्रेज क्लोज हो सकता है? नेवर, नहीं हो सकता। क्या कोई भी क्लोज सेंटेंस हो सकता है? हो सकता है। कौन सा? केवल मेन क्लोज। सबऑर्डिनेट क्लोज इंडिपेंडेंटली एक सेंटेंस नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि वो डिपेंडेंट क्लोज होता है। एवरी सेंटेंस क्या क्लोज होगा? यस, ऑफ कोर्स। एवरी क्लोज may or may not be a sentence, but every sentence is always a clause or more than one clauses. इस प्रकार से हम क्लॉज, फ्रेज और सेंटेंस में डिफरेंस कर सकते हैं, उसके कॉन्सेप्ट को समझ सकते हैं, उसकी अवधारणा को समझ सकते हैं। अगर किसी सेंटेंस में एक ही मेन क्लोज हो, उसे हम क्या कहते हैं? सिंपल सेंटेंस। वन मेन क्लोज plus one subordinate or more than one subordinate clauses, complex sentence. If there are two main clauses in a sentence joined with a conjunction, it will be known as compound sentence. हमने यहां सीखा clauses, types of clauses and types of subordinate clauses. Noun clause, adjective clause and adverb clause. Noun clause, adjective clause, adverb clause हमेशा कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंस बनाएंगे, कभी भी कंपाउंड सेंटेंस नहीं बना सकते। क्यों? क्योंकि वो सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉजेज हैं और सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज सेंटेंस ही नहीं बना सकता। इसलिए नाउन क्लॉज, एडजेक्टिव क्लॉज और एडवर्ब क्लॉज ऑलवेज विल बी द पार्ट ऑफ ए सेंटेंस। डियर स्टूडेंट्स, हमने क्लॉजेज सीखे। अब क्लॉजेज के कॉन्सेप्ट को सही तरीके से असेस करने के लिए, आपकी असेसमेंट के लिए हम एक एक्सरसाइज मेरे साथ सोल्व करते हैं। देखिए, देयर आर 9 sentences in this exercise and insert the clause as directed. Means in the first 3 sentences you have to fill in a noun clause. In the next 3 sentences, fourth, fifth and sixth sentence, you have to fill in an adjective clause. And in the last 3 sentences, 7th, 8th and 9th sentence, you have to fill in an adverb clause. आपको नाउन क्लोज, एडजेक्टिव क्लोज और एडवर्ब क्लोज की अंडरस्टैंडिंग, उसके कॉन्सेप्ट की समझ है, तो आप इनमें अपनी तरफ से कोई भी नाउन क्लोज जो रिक्वायर्ड है वो फिल इन कर पाएंगे। क्लोज के लिए आपको ध्यान रखना है, उसका अपना सब्जेक्ट, अपनी वर्ब होनी चाहिए। अगर हमें नाउन क्लोज भरना है तो नाउन क्लोज नाउन के तरह से एक्ट करना चाहिए। इन केस ऑफ एडजेक्टिव क्लोज, वो एडजेक्टिव क्लोज किसी नाउन या प्रोनाउन को क्वालिफाई करता हुआ होना चाहिए, मींस एडजेक्टिव का रोल प्ले करना चाहिए। इन केस ऑफ एडवर्ब क्लॉज, एडवर्ब क्लॉज एडवर्ब की तरह रोल प्ले करना चाहिए। फर्स्ट 3 sentences we have to fill in noun clauses. First of all, you can eat. You can eat. We have to fill in a noun clause. You can eat something. You can eat biscuits. You can eat sweets. These are nouns. But we have to fill in a noun clause. Means you can fill in whatever you want. Whatever you want. You can fill in whatever you want. Means you can eat something. ये whatever you want जो है, it is acting as a noun clause. You want subject verb combination. It gives the answer of what do you want, what you want to eat. Next is I don't know. What I don't know? I don't know what? I don't know something means I don't know what she likes. I don't know what she likes. Again, this is a subject and verb combination. Subject verb combination. I don't know what she wants. Again a noun clause there. Next is he told me. What did he tell me? He told me that, कुछ भी हम noun clause के रूप में यहां लिख देंगे, he told me that. Now insert a proper noun clause suitable to this sentence. He told me that he would come. He told me that he would come. In this way, we can fill in the required clauses to the given sentences. Next is fourth, fifth and sixth sentence. We have to fill in adjective clauses. Fourth sentence is the girl is my niece. This is the main clause. We have to insert a subordinate clause, means an adjective clause here. यहां पर एक ऐसा क्लोज हमें फिल इन करना है जो इस नाउन गर्ल को क्वालिफाई करे. तो हम इसके लिए हु से क्वालिफाई करवा देंगे इसे. द गर्ल हु वन द फर्स्ट प्राइज और वन द ट्रॉफी. द गर्ल हु वन द ट्रॉफी इज माई नीश. हु इज दैट गर्ल? द गर्ल हु वन द ट्रॉफी इज माई नीश. यहां पर हु वन द ट्रॉफी, अगेन सब्जेक्ट वर्ब कॉम्बिनेशन क्वालिफाइंग दिस नाउन. So it is acting as an adjective clause. Next is all is not gold. All that glitters, it is a well-known saying also, that glitters, all that glitters is not gold. And the next is my sister is a doctor, means I have 2 or 3 sisters. One of them is a doctor. Which one of them? I have to qualify this noun my sister. My sister, now who lives in Canada, who lives in Canada is a doctor. Who lives in India is not a doctor. Which sister of mine is a doctor? My sister who lives in Canada is a doctor. यहां पर ये जो who lives, again subject verb combination qualifies this noun. That's why this is an adjective clause. Now in the last sentences we have to fill in adverb clauses. It might be adverb of time, adverb clause of place, adverb clause of manner, whatever. For example, I waited for my friend. I waited, यहां पर वेट करने की बात आती है. I waited for my friend, adverb clause of time यहां हम भर देंगे until he returned. I waited for my friend until he returned, और till he returned भी हम यहां पर लिख सकते हैं. Next is she was so tired. How much tired? She was so tired that she could barely stand. She could barely stand. कि वो मुश्किल से खड़ी हो पाती थी, खड़ी भी नहीं हो पाती थी, इतनी थकी हुई थी कि खड़ी भी नहीं हो सकी. She was so tired that she could barely stand, or that she could not walk, she could not stand. Now if you don't tell me everything, मान लीजिए किसी की कोई प्रॉब्लम है, वो हमें कुछ थोड़ी बहुत बात बताता है लेकिन पूरी नहीं बताता. Can we help him? No. Then he says, if you don't tell me everything, I will not be able to help you. I will not be able to help you. In this way, we can fill in required clauses in the given sentences.